and welcome to our OBS or Open Broadcaster Software tutorial. This is Sir Adrian. OBS is a free and open source software for video conferencing and live streaming. It's well known for streaming, like streaming on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook. You can use it. But for today, our focus would be video recording. Okay, you might be asking why should we use OBS rather than other applications? OBS allows you to create multiple scenes, and in those multiple scenes you can put as many programs as you want. You can have side-by-side comparison. You can have another app like a paint app. While you're presenting a PowerPoint, you can draw on another side and also show your face during the recording. Also remember that since we are going to focus on video recording has an advantage over live classes because you are sure that errors are edited, and also of course you can also time yourself so that you don't exceed the time required for the class. To download or to install OBS Studio, you need of course a Windows, Mac OS or Linux operating system. Okay, since most of us use Windows anyway, that won't be much of a problem. Now, to be able to install the application, all you have to do is go to this website, obsproject.com. Okay, again, that is obsproject.com, and then you click on the operating system where you need to install which operating system you are using. For us, we're using Windows. Once I click on that, it will ask me to download it. As you can see, I've already downloaded the application. When we go to the folder, to the downloads, and we try to install it, by the way, it can also appear on the lower left of your browser if you've just downloaded it. You click on that, and then yes, then it will ask you to install it. Now, as you can see, I'm already running OBS and I have it installed. So typically you just go next on each of the steps, and you also need to specify which drive you're going to install the application. By default, of course, it's drive C. Here we have OBS already opened. Okay, when you open the app, this is the first thing that you will see. You will see a black empty space on the middle, which is our preview screen. You also have different areas on the bottom. You have scenes, sources, audio mixer, and controls. Okay, typically the audio mixer is blank when you start out. This is because I have mine already set up. Okay, how do you make sure that you are already set up for recording? The first thing that you should do is go to the settings menu. Okay, now there are plenty of settings here, and some of them are related to streaming, but since we're going to record, we only need to configure a few settings. Okay, first is output. Okay, make sure that the output mode is simple. Again, this is streaming, so we're not going to touch this one, and we'll just focus on recording. Recording is, of course, these are options or settings of where you're basically where you're going to put the recording and what file type. The recording path here is by default is my videos folder. So if you are using a laptop, typically you don't have another drive, or if you're using a desktop, if you have another hard disk on your computer, you can use that. Okay, remember that recording videos does require a lot of space, so you may have to get a hard drive for that. No. Alright, if you're already satisfied with the recording path, or if you want to change it, just click on browse and then go to the folder where you want to put the videos. Recording quality, we just leave this as that, high quality, medium file size. There are other options here, but of course, if we choose a larger file size, that will consume more space. Recording format, we typically use MP4. Okay, However, if we use MP4, this is the downside of MP4, but of course I won't blame you if you want to use MP4. Okay, MP4 recordings will be unrecoverable, as you can see at the bottom there, if the file cannot be finalized. Like for example, there is an error in the computer, there's a power interruption. MP4s don't really finish or get, they can easily get corrupted basically. But if we use MKV, we can still recover some of the video. So for me, I use MKV. But of course, since compatibility is always a problem, I would suggest you use MP4. Okay? So again, we only change the recording path and the recording format to MP4. Finally, we have the encoder. Now, the encoder is a little tricky to set. Okay, you actually have three options here. To be honest, all you need to choose is the NVENC hardware or software X264. Now, to explain this, software X264 uses your CPU. Now, hardware NVENC uses a video card. Now, here's the thing, no? Not every laptop or not every computer has a video card. Sometimes your computer may only have a CPU. Of course, all computers have CPU. Now, to be safe, we can use X264. But if you know your computer and you know that you have an NVIDIA video card, typically on laptops you have an image on the lower right of the keyboard or lower left of the keyboard where it indicates that you have a Intel processor or Radeon or whatever. If you get an icon like NVIDIA, the color green, okay, I'll try to post the image somewhere in this video. So you'd know that you have an NVIDIA video card. Of course, the advantage of having the NVENC is if you have a video card, of course, the better the recording. The other settings that you should change is on audio. Now, as you can see here, by default, by the way, this is how it looks like. Everything is disabled. As you can see, I only changed two options there. The desktop audio should be default because the desktop audio is what your computer is currently playing, or what sounds does it play. So if you're showing a video, you want that recorded, or if you have multiple sounds, you can have it as part of your video. And finally, you need a mic or auxiliary audio. Now, as you can see here, I have several options. By default, we choose microphone Realtek audio for the microphone. Okay, but for me, I have a very special setup on my computer, so I use this one. This is a virtual microphone. No need to try to understand that. Just choose Realtek audio, the microphone that you are currently using. Typically, when you get a webcam, sometimes your webcam has a microphone, so the webcam should appear here. If you have other microphones that are set up, if you have a lot of mics, you can see it all here. Okay, so typically the one at the back of your computer, the microphone, is the Realtek audio, this one. Or you can use default, which uses the default setup from Windows. So those are the only two options that I would recommend choosing. Okay. Finally, you have video. Now for video, as you can see here, the canvas and the output scale resolution is already set there. Now this is a typical what do you call this? The size of the monitor. The size of my monitor is 1920 by 1080. But in some cases, computers do struggle with recording. So if you feel that your computer doesn't really have a good graphics or it's kind of low end, I would suggest choosing 1280 by 720 for both base and output. Okay, so you can choose the two options. Okay, so 720p is actually quite decent enough and it's a good recording already. Okay, also it's HD, so it's going to be basically not the old TVs wherein the ratio is 4:4. As you can see here, it verifies that your aspect ratio is 16:9, which means you have a widescreen monitor. Downscaling filter, just leave it at bicubic, and common FPS values, we leave it at 30 FPS. Now, in some cases, you might want to go 60, but of course, for compatibility reasons, go for 30. Sometimes you may want to go to 24, which is the standard for television. So anything between 24 and 30 is okay. So we'll just leave it at 30. Okay, so those are the only settings that you need to adjust. For the other settings for streaming, that will be a story for another video. You can actually use OBS to stream on YouTube if you want to have your class on YouTube. Okay, there are other settings here, but of course we don't need that. So just click on apply if you're done. For me, I will click on cancel because mine is already set up. Alright, so we're done setting up our settings. So let's take a look at the other things that we need to set up on OBS. Now, to know if your mic is perfectly set, you will see that the mic and auxiliary setting here should move every time you speak. So whenever I speak, it should move, right? Desktop audio, we can try testing that right now. So if the bar moves, we know that it's working. So let's play a YouTube video. As you can see there, the line is moving.
You're so cute.
Okay, so the desktop audio is working. Now let's focus on the video. Since we're done with the audio part, let's focus on the scenes and sources. Now, scenes and sources work hand in hand. You can have multiple scenes on the left, and each scenes have different sources. Okay, for example, if I have the scene here, by default you have one, and then we can add other applications or whatever you want to put as part of the scene. For example, let's start with something simple like a window capture. We can name that if we want. We'll just choose default for now, and then it will ask us what application we want to display. Excuse me. Now we can I have other applications open here, but we can use Google Chrome for this specific method. As you can see on my OBS screen, the browser is now the one being shown. Now if I go to my browser, you will see that it's not in full screen and it has yellow outline. So that means that it's being shown as part of the OBS recording. Okay, since I haven't started really recording on OBS, it's not really any it's just a preview basically. But if I start recording, so whatever is shown on the preview screen should be part of your recording. Okay, next is adding more sources. So besides window capture, the other options would be, the most useful ones would be text, or GDI plus, which allows you to put text on the screen. Like for example, okay, again you can choose any name that you want, and then we can modify the text. For example, lesson 1 about myself. So you will see that the text would be shown on the screen of OBS. You can adjust that and put it on the left side. So you can put a title as part of your excuse me, as part of the lessons. What other sources can you put? So you can also try adding an image if you have a picture. Okay, if you want to add your picture there, and you may also choose display capture. Okay, so for display capture, it will show you the screen, entire screen. So this will be a little weird. You'll get weirded out if I try to place this. So let's try putting it there. As you can see, it's very weird because it's trying to capture what I'm seeing on my entire screen, so it gets an infinite loop. Okay, we can hide that and it will not be shown. Now, desktop capture is one of the easiest way to do it. If you're having trouble with window capture, you can't capture the PowerPoint or whatever, you can use display capture. But of course, you have to be careful of what you're showing on screen. Okay, so you can hide the sources anytime during the recording. Now here's something I forgot. I forgot to mention that in the sources part, you can actually change whichever is on top and which one is in the bottom. So if you have two layers or two sources that are on top of each other, whatever is on top is the one being shown on top. So example here in the picture is that text GDI2 will always be on top of the other sources listed below it. So you can still adjust this. You just click your mouse on one source and then drag it up or down, or you can use the buttons that I encircled red and blue. So just click it and then the red one, the encircled red one will move it up, and of course the other will move it down. Okay, so what other things can you put? Now let's try opening a PowerPoint presentation. Now, just like your conferencing apps like Zoom, you have to make the slideshow in slideshow view. So we just press F5 and you will see that it's in slideshow view. Now once it's in slideshow view, you alt tab, you go back to OBS, okay, and you will see that window capture is currently not there. So we can delete this one so that we don't get confused. We'll put another window capture here, and then we select the slideshow. As you can see, I'm not using PowerPoint, but the results would be the same. Do not choose the PPTX. Instead, use the slideshow, the actual slideshow. So using the PPTX would show the entire PowerPoint program. Slideshow, just slideshow. So from here, you can now start recording. I do have, this is what I did during the quarantine before the school year ended. So I did PowerPoints, just flashing slides and then talking and then using OBS to record that. Now, how do we make this a little better? So we can actually put our own video capture device. So here we can choose a webcam that we have set up. So most laptops have a webcam anyway. So just, so video capture device, properties. By the way, if you suddenly click OK, just do that. So as you can see, my face is already there for Logitech HD webcam C270. But since I'm not really a big fan of my face, I will use another source. I have a program here called FaceRig. It's not a free application, but I did get it for quite cheap. So here you have the video capture device, which is currently showing a character. Okay. It should capture my face. See? Okay. So there. Now it's capturing my face. So hopefully it's correct. So what you can do is you can actually adjust the window, place it somewhere on the left side. So if you're trying to discuss something, you can do it by adding a video capture device and you have a slideshow there. If you want to resize the slideshow, just click on the window and then resize it. Okay. Another option is having a sort of whiteboard. We can use Microsoft Paint for that. So for Microsoft Paint, so in Microsoft Paint, of course, we can easily do scribbles or whatever. So just add Microsoft Paint as a window capture device. So again, it's window capture 2 now because we have 2 windows. And of course, Microsoft Paint is the first one because we just opened it. So here you can have a sort of a blackboard or a notes pane. So whenever you start recording, you go to Paint and then you start to draw, you will see that it will show up here. Okay. Or you can put text and make it as big as you can. Okay. Alright. So what about other scenes? So on the lower left, you can actually add more scenes here. So if, for example, you want a scene wherein it looks like this, and then you want a scene that looks like it's only the PowerPoint, you can set up the scene. So changing the scene is as easy as clicking the scenes here. As you can see, there's a sort of a transition. There's a fade out transition to the next screen. So we can add another window here. For example, you have a recitation now, so there you can put another PowerPoint presentation, or you can go to a Word file. Let's try a Word file. Or wait, let's just use another, say, calculator. Oh, my calculator is not open. So let's just open a notepad file. Again, it doesn't automatically appear, so you have to click on properties. So as you can see there, my notepad application is already part of the scene. Okay, so you can change, you can have a lot of scenes here. Change it at a click of a mouse button, and basically you can easily transition from one part of your discussion to another, as long as you have it already set up. Okay, so as you can see, I haven't really started recording. I'm using another software to record because it will be very confusing. Now, if I click on record, it is now starting to record this application, and if I try to stop it, the file automatically goes to where we have initially set. Remember this part right here? So the file is now on this path. So to easily go there, you just copy and paste that one. Or you could browse using your Windows Explorer. As you can see, this is the video that we have recorded. It is now starting to record. So 5-second video, because that's how we roll. So if there are questions regarding OBS, I'm free to answer it in a while. Now there's one more part, one important part, which is video editing. Typically, I record in batches. Don't really record in a full lesson. So if you have 3 separate videos, you can join them. There are a lot of applications. If you want to learn on how to easily video edit, let me know. We can do that in another session. But if you're already satisfied with your recording and you only have one file, if you're good, then you can now upload it to YouTube. So on YouTube, to easily upload, you just click on, make sure you're logged in, click on create and upload video on the right side, and then you select the video file. So let's just put a sample there. So MKV videos actually is recognized by YouTube, so you can use MKV. The only problem with MKV is that in older video editors, you can't really edit them easily. You still have to convert them to MP4. So first, you put the title, like for example, OBS tutorial. Put a description. This is for your students. Not really important right now. Audience, typically, again, if it's appropriate for kids, then you click on yes. Sometimes you get flagged if you made it for kids. They're very strict about this one. So I would really suggest, if you have a sensitive topic, to make it no, it's not made for kids. Okay. And then we click on next. By the way, if you have a playlist, actually you can see there that I have a playlist already set. You can also do that. You can also put the thumbnail, but that's not really important. Here you have video elements. Nothing of these options are important right now. And finally, on the visibility, you select, typically I select unlisted, so that the video does not appear on YouTube, so it doesn't really show up as part of their search, as part of their algorithm, doesn't show up on the main page. Instead, only those who have the video link, which we typically put it on our LMS, like Schoology, only those with the link can be will be able to view that. I'll show you a video later. Okay, so save and publish unlisted. You can also do private if you want that. Or you can schedule it if you want the video to be uploaded on a certain time. You can also do that. Then we click on save. As you can see, the video is being processed right now. So it's not instant. As you can see, the standard definition version of the video needs finish processing. So it means that the video is currently being processed by YouTube. So it does take a while, no? If you want it instantly, it will not happen. So YouTube still does a lot of things there. Okay, now it's uploaded. So it doesn't really take much time because it's only a 3-minute video. Alright, so as you can see here, I do have other, what do you call this, videos here. And 4 of them are unlisted. These are the discussions that I've made using OBS. So these are very simple discussion videos. Didn't really take much of my time since these are just recordings of PowerPoint and my voice. So of course it's up to you if you want to add a little more flair.
Hello and
And
welcome to
if you want a little more flair, you can use OBS. So that's it, no? If you have any questions, feel free to let me know on how to utilize OBS even further. I did leave out advanced stuff like sound threshold. This one right here, as you can see, if you have a noisy background, how do you make it? What do you call this? Doesn't really pick up the noise, the background noise, and just picks up your voice. There's a setting for that. If you want to learn more about it, let me know and I'll teach you. But of course, I try to make this as simple as I can, even though it's kind of complicated. So that is all. Thank you for watching. I'll be uploading this on YouTube as well, so you can check it out every once in a while.